Hello guys and welcome to the Survivor Panama cast rankings, and today we are going to be counting down every single person on this series and we are going to be ranking them on a tier list. I know you guys are super excited and I know you love watching all of these, but these are going to be my unfiltered, very interesting opinions on each and every single cast member. I've got a lot of thoughts and we've got a lot of people to get through. There were 16 people on this series, but let's just say some huge personalities. So if you guys are excited, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. And also, if you are enjoying and you want me to grow as a YouTuber, make sure to hit that hype button. It's a brand new feature in YouTube which allows you to give smaller creators such as myself more voice and more platform on this incredible website. You know what I mean. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into ranking and let's get going. So, we are going to start off with Tina. I think that's her name. Is it Tina? I'm fairly certain it's Tina. I'm going to put her in my alliance. I am gutted that she went home first. Genuinely gutted. I thought that she was such a great character. We only got one episode with her, but I understood her. I felt that she had an incredible reason for being here. It was so deeply tragic, but it was such a sort of cathartic experience for her. So the fact that she went out first and she's still making it this high on the list just goes to show you how good this season was, that the first boot is the person that is right up there. Incredible. But then we come to the next person, who was Melinda, and I just don't think we had enough time with her. And the time that we did spend with her, she was kind of complaining a lot about things. And I was just kind of a bit like, oh, yeah, I can understand why you were the pick to go home next. Because you didn't really do much. From my knowledge, obviously there's a lot that wasn't shown on the TV. But from my knowledge, you didn't do anything that made me go, oh, yeah, they're going to want to keep you around. Yeah, haha. Definitely. So I feel like there's a lot of swings and roundabouts when it comes to the first couple of people that get booted off, because sometimes I'm like, wow, I really expected them to be a bigger character. And then sometimes, like Tina, and then sometimes there's people like Melinda where I'm like, yeah, you're definitely a pre-merge boot. You're definitely exactly what I would describe as a pre-merge boot. But you know what? You have to give her credit where credit's due. She still came out. She still played a good game. She didn't go out first, and she executed a blindside on Tina. So you know what? Fair game. Good job. But up next, we have Misty. Misty, I would also put her in my alliance. I would put her below Tina, though. I think that Misty was a very unlucky person to be on a tribe in which there was a strong male alliance, and she kind of just got the short end of the stick at the end of the day. She tried her best to try and smooth the boys into keeping her, but it worked against her in the end. She was also the first person to go to Exile Island. I thought she was going to do a lot better than she did, and I feel like if she had been on Chaos Aya, she might have done a lot better. But sadly, unfortunately, she did get booted out third. And I was a bit like, I did not expect that to happen. I really didn't. It kind of blew me away. But up next, we have Ruth Marie. Listen, I've just watched the reunion and she's just said that she's a lot cuter in like when she was actually out there than she was shown in the edit. And I don't think anything was shown in the edit from her. I don't remember any defining character traits, any personality. I don't remember a lot from her. So, yeah, sorry. You kind of have to give her credit where credit's due for surviving the Misty vote. But aside from that, you didn't really do much, sadly. You were the next person to go out. And you didn't seem to have any kind of bonds or alliances with anybody. So, it kind of made you the easy boot off. So, I don't know what you were expecting, but yeah, kind of disappointing, I guess. But anyway, moving on. Bob Dog. I really liked Bob Dog. I thought that he was actually a very interesting character. The whole wine gate was brilliant when him and Bruce just slept in the outhouse drinking wine. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. It was such a chaotic moment that just added to the absolute wow, what is going on with this tribe? honestly, I'm still blown away by it. I still can't get over it. But anyway, amazing. 10 out of 10. Really, really enjoyed it. You got to give him credit where credit's due. He was the first person voted out on Chaos Aya, and he's still making it this high on the list. We're only at the 5th person out, and 3 of them are in my alliance. I'm going to have everybody in my alliance by the end of this. Genuinely. What's going on with this? Anyway. Then we've got Dan. Oh, poor Dan. I mean, outside of him just being a very optimistic person, and did I mention he's an astronaut? Did he mention that to you? Did he mention that to you at all? Because he didn't mention it to me, and I had to find out online. I know. I didn't know he was an astronaut. Genuinely, I didn't know he'd been to space. Who would have guessed that? He didn't mention it on the show. He kept that one quiet. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not blown away by him. I think he went at the appropriate time. I don't feel like there was a place for him in Merge, sadly. I feel like it just would have been even sadder to watch him just feel defeated in Merge. But his last episode was really good. He got one final sunrise, one final sunset. I was like, oh yeah, this is sweet. Let's get rid of him now. Let's go. But that's our pre-merge done and dusted. Like, that's still quite a considerably good pre-merge. And the fact that we've got nobody in Gone But Forgotten is kind... Oh, wait. Nick. I'm sorry, but I just don't remember anything about him. I really do not remember anything about this guy. Like, at all. Like, I don't remember anything. His exit speech, I remember being the most sort of like, huh? You didn't even talk about your game at all. You didn't talk about how you got, like, backstabbed. You didn't talk about anything. You just talked about how, like, oh, I really want to make a difference. And I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe you should have done that on the island, and maybe making a difference would have made a difference in your game. Anyway, I just don't feel any affinity towards him. I found him to be quite boring. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I wasn't that interested by him. And you get some people on these series where you kind of can throw them away. But the fact that he made Merge and he wasn't more of a presence in the edit is kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy to me. Because if you look at some people who have gone home just before Merge, last series, the person who went home just before Merge was Brandon, and I feel like even he got a better edit than Nick did. The season before that, who went home before Merge? Was it... It was one of the boys, and I can't remember who it was. Oh, God. It'll come back to me at some point. But either way, he even had much more of a story. I just feel like it's a shame. It really is, and it is what it is at the end of the day. You kind of just gotta get over it, innit? You just gotta get over it. Anyway, whatever. Moving on, Austin. I don't want to put him in my alliance. I'm gonna put him at the top of mediocre. I liked him. I didn't at first. I didn't. He came in with that attitude of, oh, I want to be with all the beautiful women. And I was just like, oh, God, it's one of these people. It's one of these guys that's going to try and chat up every single girl, get rejected by every single girl, and then have a vendetta against every single girl and try and get them out. And I was like, oh, God, we don't need another one of those archetypes. But he actually turned out to not be like that, so that was nice. And I feel like he had his good moments. I remember the moment with Danielle on Exile Island where it was just pouring and they were just sitting there freezing to death. He was the first juror and it made sense to take him out of the game when they did. But I don't understand why he sat at the, what's it called, table? The jury, no, not the jury, the tribal council. He sat at tribal council and he basically was like, yeah, I threw that challenge. And I was like, what? Why would you say that? What? Why would you give them ammunition to take you out of this game? That seems stupid. That seems really, really dumb. And honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm a little bit disappointed in Austin for not playing a little bit of a better game. But then again, his back was against the wall. He was in the minority. There wasn't really much he could do to progress his game beyond winning immunity, and Derry was winning every time. So not really much he can do. Next up, we have Sally. Again, I would put Sally in mediocre purely because the other tribe, aside from Terry, Lamina was not built up as well as Chaos Aya. And that's because, for the most part, they were all out by 8th place. And then the top 7 was made up of Terry and the 6 Chaos Aya members. So I feel like Sally, she just didn't get enough breathing room in this game to do anything. And every time she was like, oh, let's make this big move, they didn't do anything with it. Like, I feel like a big move could have been, and I've argued this in the comment section, and I still stand by. I feel like this would have been an interesting move. Might not have won in the game, but at least would have bought him some time to gather some allies. But if he'd have won immunity and given the immunity idol to Danielle, then they could have picked off Aris, and then the entire team splinters apart. And it becomes a lot more of an open game. If you take out Aris was like the glue holding that team together. I guess Sari as well, but Aris was definitely someone that everyone seemed to want out, but not wanting to take the shot. So if they took that shot there, then you come down to the 5 of them. He could have pulled Bruce. He could have pulled Courtney. Suddenly, he has the majority. Do you see what I mean? That could have been a move that they made, but he just didn't. And so Sally's game suffered because of that. But anyway, here's what it is. Moving on. Bruce, he's a Survivor GOAT. No, you're not in Iconic, mate. You're a Survivor GOAT. Amazing, amazing person. I think he might be one of the most inspirational people I've ever seen on this show. The fact that he prioritized over his own game, building a rock garden so that he could have some Zen moments. Amazing. The fact that he was involved in Winegate. Impeccable. And the fact that him and Courtney had an incredible rivalry, and I think him and Danielle as well, just incredible. Just absolutely incredible. It was such a wonderful, wonderful thing to watch. I thought he was going to be out quite quickly, but he made merge, he made jury, and then the only reason why he was kicked out of the game was because he was backed up. His his colon, whatever. You know, he was just blocked up. He couldn't go to the toilet, and it was causing so many issues for him, and he was in so much pain, and so he had to be taken out of the game. It's tough. There's not much you can do at that point. There really is not much you can do, and it's such a shame because, God, it's such a shame. It really is. Yeah, I'm still gutted that he's never even come back because dude was incredible. Dude took a machete to the mouth, okay, didn't complain. Chipped a tooth, didn't complain. And he was like, I'm just wanting to stay here, guys. I'm just wanting to stay here. And even when his back was against the wall, he didn't flip on his alliance. He didn't go over to Team Terry and try and help them. No, he stayed true to Chaos Aya to the very end. And honestly, we don't know what would happen if he was still in the game and he had survived. I don't know. I do not want to speculate because I think Bruce definitely could have been a shoo-in for top 2 if he had just kept going, because ain't no way anybody's seeing him as a threat until it's too late. And then he sneaks up on you and he's like, karate. Anyway, moving on, we have Courtney. Now, half of me wants to put her in Snuff immediately because, my God, I loved watching her, but she was annoying. But I have to put her in Survivor GOAT. I have to. Without Courtney, we wouldn't have had as many chaotic Shane moments. And we wouldn't have had the constant bickering and arguing that we saw on Chaos Aya. This season was so good because that tribe was so chaotic. And you can't have that tribe being as chaotic if Courtney's not in it. Courtney, the fact that she came back and she was like, guys, I'm going to do some fire dancing. And everyone was like, I don't want that. I don't want to see you fire dancing. No, stop. And then she's like, fire dance. Woo! It was so funny. It was so brilliant. Her blindside, impeccable. The fact that everybody voted her for literally everything during that one challenge, amazing. And the fact that Shane threatened her life and the only thing she had to say was, I don't have a shitty apartment. That is brilliant. That is just incredible, incredible, incredible. I have to give her credit where credit's due because it's just amazing. Just amazing. Now, up next is the main man himself. And this might surprise you, but I'm putting him in Iconic. He is my favourite pick for this series. And it is very, very rare that a man gets that top spot purely because they have to work so much harder and they have to be so entertaining. But Shane, this season would not have been anywhere near as entertaining if it wasn't for you. And that is a testament to the fact that you went through one of the most craziest withdrawals I've ever seen in my whole life. Bro went from smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day, so about 60 cigarettes a day, to 0. And then went through the wildest withdrawal ever. I've never seen someone go on such a psychotic break in my life. It was incredible to watch. Sitting there with his BlackBerry, he was tapping a rock like it was a BlackBerry. A rock. That is mental. And then he's sitting on his thinking chair. Just amazing television. Constantly arguing. Quick to temper. And just so many wonderful moments that I will always remember the moment when he was at the village and he saw someone smoking and went, and then smoked a cigarette till it was burning his fingers. Just sensational. What a man. I cannot believe that he has been asked back numerous times and they've cut him before he can compete on the season. It's mental. It's mental. This man deserves to be back more than like 95% of people who have been brought back. Let's be real right now. And listen, I tossed and turned about whether I would put Sari in iconic, but I want to save my iconic Sari one for a more iconic season for her. Because I feel like this season, yes, she played an incredible game. However, I think she plays a better game in another season. So I have to give her that iconic status then, because I can't give Shane the iconic status ever again. So I have to give him this now. However, moving on to Sari, she's the top of Survivor GOAT. She is the top. I've not seen a social game like hers ever on Survivor. Ever. Never, ever, ever on Survivor have I seen a better social game than hers. I think you could potentially argue maybe Rob in season 3. Not season 3. Rob in season 6. Amazon. I remember him having a particularly good social game, but he was also good at playing the game as well, which is what Sari is good at. So, you know what? She might not have been good at the challenges, bless her. She might not have. She won an immunity challenge. No, she won a reward challenge. She didn't win any immunity challenges individually. But you got to give her credit where credit's due. She still tried her best. She still did what she came out here to do. Listen, I can't take that away from her. She had the most growth, the most impressive journey of any Survivor player I've ever seen in my whole life. I can understand why she's a GOAT of the game, why she's on the Mount Rushmore with players like Parvati and I don't know who else is on the Survivor Hall of Fame, but Sandra? Is Sandra up there? I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Incredible behaviour, incredible game, incredible personality, sensational. I couldn't give her iconic purely because I wanted to give it to Shane because he entertained me more, but she's the GOAT of all GOATs. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, moving on. Terry, I gotta give him credit where credit's due. Did I like him on this series? No. I found him to be, as much as they tried to paint him as the underdog, they painted him as the villain. And they really did a good job of making you dislike him. When he turned around to Sari and was like, yeah, you'd slap your children for that. And she was like, I don't slap my children. I was like, that was an uncalled for statement. Rude. It was presumptuous. It was just awful. I did agree with him about the whole mother situation, but we've had this discussion in the comment section. We're not going to agree on this. Oh, B-Real's just gone off. But overall, I think he played a decent game. I think his social game was ass, personally. But listen, if you keep winning challenges, you're going to make it far in the game. And he won 6 individual immunities. That's the most of anybody ever. That's mental. That is crazy. I cannot believe it. That is absolutely wild and crazy. I don't even think Tom won 6. Did he win 6? I'm sure he won 6. He won the one at 10, the one at 9, the one at 8, the one at 7, the one at 6, the one at 5. Yeah, that's 6. And then he lost the 4 and the 3 one. That's crazy. And he had the hidden immunity idol, and he didn't need to use it. I mean, come on. You can't ask for a better game than that, getting to 3rd place and being cut because you're going to win the show. Like, come on. That's just a great game that he played. As much as, like I said, his social game sucked ass, and he didn't make any big moves. He was always forced to pivot, turn, win immunity. Otherwise, he was going home. I find that kind of gameplay boring, especially when it's someone that I'm not invested in. If it was someone like Sari that was winning immunity every single time while she was going home, I'd be like, yeah, chill. I'm here for it. But because it's Terry, I'm like, it is what it is at the end of the day. Then we have Danielle. Where do I put her? what do I'm gonna lump these two in the same category because I don't find them that entertaining. I feel like Danielle and Aris, they had their moments of like, oh yeah, like you're a decent player, but like, did I want them to make top three? No, no. When they were talking in like episode 10 about getting rid of Aris, I was like, yeah, please do, because bro's dead weight when it comes to entertainment on this TV show. Like, there wasn't a lot of entertainment to be had from him outside of his rivalry with Terry. Whereas Danielle, like, I don't know, Danielle just didn't have the greatest time for me. As much as I liked her game by the end of the show, I don't remember there being moments where I was like, oh, Danielle's my favourite. I always felt like there were other people that I would rather watch. And she kind of disappeared a little bit during the middle of the game. And for someone who comes runner-up, I would have expected her to have had a better edit maybe. But I don't know. They didn't really do a great job for me when they were like trying to paint Aris as the hero. There were a couple of times where I was like, oh, they're painting Terry as the villain and they're painting Aris to be the hero, but like I don't agree with what Aris is saying, so I don't know. It was a weird edit this series. I couldn't have called the winner from early on because I thought Aris was going home before merge from what the edit was showing me. The vibe I got from him on first day wasn't amazing, so I don't know. I feel like this entire thing was a little bit underwhelming once Sari went, but then again, that was just the last episode, so I'm not overly upset about that. It's not like my favourite person went home in 7th place and I had to suffer with people for like the next 3-4 episodes because, God, that was tough in one of the seasons. I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was tough. But anyway, that is all we've got time for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so unbelievably well. And I will see you guys in the next episode, which will be Cook Islands, and that will be at some point next week. So make sure to keep your eyes tuned for that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye now. See ya.